Salute e salve, questo è un episodio che veramente non vedevo l'ora di far uscire, lo so, è ancora di nuovo in inglese, ma c'è una ragione. Questi che sto per intervistare sono tra i miei podcaster preferiti in inglese. Di nuovo abbiamo un podcast che non si prende troppo sul serio, è molto simpatico, ma la ricerca dietro è veramente molto approfondita. Li ho citati anche nei miei libri come fonti, li trovate nella bibliografia dei miei libri. Sono Rob e Jamie di Totalus Rankium, in realtà 3 podcast diversi. I podcaster sono gli stessi, ma hanno 3 feed. Totalus Rankium, quello tradizionale su tutti gli imperatori romani, che è terminato, valuta tutti gli imperatori romani nello stile di Pontifex, quindi che ormai già conoscete, e poi Totalus Rankium American Presidents, che è la stessa cosa sui presidenti americani, fino a Joe Biden escluso, e infine Totalus Rankium Pirates, che copre la storia dei pirati più famosi dell'epoca d'oro dei pirati, quella, per intenderci, fine XVII, inizio XVIII secolo. Ho coperto tutti e 3 questi argomenti con Rob e Jamie e vedrete che ci saranno infiniti spunti di riflessione. Aggiungo che in futuro intendono anche realizzare un podcast sugli imperatori del Sacro Romano Impero, e anche quello, per ovvie ragioni, visto dove vi trovo nel podcast, non vedo l'ora di ascoltarlo. Ma per ora vi lascio alla fantastica chiacchierata che abbiamo avuto assieme. Buon ascolto! Salute e salve and welcome back for an episode in English. I always love to interview the podcasters I love to listen. And today is such a pleasure because I have Rob and Jamie. Thank you, Rob and Jamie, first of all, for coming.
That's okay.
And why it's such a pleasure? Because it's one of my favorite podcasters, actually 3 podcasts by now. I keep listening religiously. This was meant to be. I have 2 great passions in my life. It's Roman history and American history. And there you go. Just, looking around in having met the world of Rexipods, I figured out that you guys had done 2 podcasts about the 2 passions of mine. So I started. It's
almost like we planned it.
Exactly, yeah. Fantastic. So I started with the Romans, but then I got too curious, so I listened to both of them in parallel. You finished, fantastic, wrapped, and now third podcast about pirates. So the great pirates of the greatest pirate age, the late 17th and early 18th century. It's very interesting on a topic I never much cared about, so that is actually more impressive in that sense that you got me hooked on that. So I with Rob we did a quick meet. We had a little round table at Intelligence Speech last year, and then I thought, okay, I need to have them and see and tell also my audience, my Italian audience, that many are anyway English speakers, so they can find you, and I want them to find you. So again, thank you. A couple of words just on your podcast, just so I give my endorsement. It's extremely funny, but also, so this is the, of course that does it for me, but it's witty too. So it's funny and witty at the same time, and I love the chemistry that you guys have. don't tell the other pods, okay? But it's the best for me. Okay, just don't tell. It's between us.
Which really shows how good we are at acting, because in real life we despise each other.
Exactly. You cannot stand each other, but there, when the mic is on, but you can tell your
when
friends.
The mic's on, we
all business.
Fantastic. And then the other great selling point is Jeff, of course. But I love little inside jokes inside the podcast. So that running joke of Jeff is fantastic.
And sadly, Jeff couldn't be here this evening, so I apologize.
Yeah,
for that.
it's really. But and also you have another colleague, which is the guy that makes the the
sound
intros.
guy.
Yeah, sound guy. Yeah. He is very expensive, from what I heard.
Very expensive. There's no way you could afford him.
Exactly.
Yeah, we've only got him because we got him early in his career. So we tied him into a contract.
Yeah. Someone told me it's Jamie, but I said no, it's not Jamie. It's sound guy.
It's sound guy.
I can't.
Yeah. Jamie, try and impersonate sound guy.
Okay.
Say welcome to Totalus Rankium.
Welcome to Totalus Rankium.
See?
Yeah, it's not him. It's not him. Okay. Yeah. So, anyway, first question. So, as Englishmen, after all these episodes, have you understood what have the Romans ever done for us?
It's the age-old question. What have the Romans done for us, Jamie? What have they done?
I guess they inspired the British Empire a little bit.
Oh, you've gone serious straight away. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
serious
that
podcast.
is serious podcast. Yeah. Sanitation, Jamie, and the roads.
Yeah, that's the first question, and the wine.
The wine. Obviously, the wine.
Obviously, the wine. That goes without saying. But seriously, it's as an Italian, of course, I have this connection. I don't, this is one thing I would like to say. Italians tend to pretend like they're the only Romans, but everybody in the Mediterranean Sea, from a certain point onwards, is a Roman. So, and up to also places that are not that close to the Mediterranean Sea. But yeah, Italians care a lot about the Roman Empire. But I just wanted to know, from your point of view, what makes you click with Roman history?
I mean, that is interesting because, in Britain, we don't have that connection. We're too far away from the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
Generally, in this country, we see the Roman Empire as one of the civilizations that invaded us, took us over for a while.
Yeah.
And I say us, obviously, very loosely, because what is us that far back? But this part in this land. So we certainly don't have that kind of connection that Italian people obviously would. And also many people around the Mediterranean. But as Jamie, you just said, the British Empire, there really was this sense with the British Empire. It's like, yes, we are the new Roman Empire, as has every empire since the Roman Empire. And this is what the Romans have done. They created a blueprint for pretty much every European empire afterwards, and then Europe invaded the entire world, which then spread that around. So, I mean, they're hugely impactful, the Romans. Even if you're not in a country that has, like, a strong
connection to it.
Yeah, right? Strong connection, you still feel the ramifications. I mean, we've got a Roman fort down the road from us that we take school kids to. And then we can go to Bath, about an hour away, and we can go and, like, sit in a Roman bath.
I don't think
you can sit in it, can't you? Yeah. Go off to York. I mean, it is here. We can go and see all this Roman stuff, but
Vindolandia. Vindolandia is not that. It's in the north, too far, I guess.
But then occasionally, us people here in Britain travel to mainland Europe, and especially around the Mediterranean, and we go, oh, you've actually got real, like, Roman ruins and stuff here. We've got a couple of hills that someone told us that a Roman fort used to be on there, and that's about it.
And that's a good point. I think whenever I've visited Europe, every single place I've gone, so every kind of city, town, there's always a Roman museum somewhere. You can find something.
You can never get too far from that history. especially in Western Europe, just connects continuously to it, even when a lot of things have happened in between, and we are continuously fascinated by it. The risk is always to exaggerate sometimes the importance. I'm aware also of that, so I try not to. But yes, it's hard to underestimate. Yeah.
It is, and I always find fascinating the theory that some people go for, very extreme, and I don't agree with it, but I do find it fascinating. The idea that the Roman Empire never ended, and everything is just a continuation of the Roman Empire. And I do see it in a way. It doesn't fit how I view history, because people like to put things in boxes, but there is a kernel of truth in there. I mean, empires do build upon other empires, and they merge. It's not clean cut. So the length of the Roman Empire, because they were there for so long, and they just really put down, this is what an empire should look like. It really has had a huge impact. So going back to the question, what have they done for us? I suppose given us a blueprint of empire. We've like Russian Tsars and the Khazars, and like every language and like everything.
In a way, you would cover the Holy Roman Empire, which again is loosely inspired by, is like the sequel, right?
The weird spin-off. I think
spin-off is more correct, I guess. Sequel is really like the Byzantine. I mean,
exactly. Season 2 of Totalus Rankium.
Yeah, that's a season 2.
Now we're doing the weird spin-off.
And I venture to say that I think the so-called Byzantine, I always call it Roman Empire.
So do I. Yes, I agree with that.
Always. But the so-called Byzantine Empire is, let's say, is more similar to the traditional empire than the traditional empire is to the Republic. Just to say, the continuity is so strong that at the end, if you look at the entire history, then you're just seeing different periods of it, where of course things change in 1,000, in almost 2,000, no, more than 2,000 years. So anyway, but even in the West, you have this spin-off empire which gets you all the way to Napoleon, and at the same time, Napoleon makes another empire inspired by that, and then you have the British Empire, as we said. So there is, and the czars in the East, of course, are also inspired. They're also taking bits and pieces. So yes, the theory at a certain point it did die. The institution of the Roman Empire did die in 1453, but I can see why someone could say, okay, never died in that sense.
Yeah, the idea lived on.
Yeah. Now on to the second question is about the rebels, so not about the Roman Empire. So we're talking about the Americans, of course. From your point of view, they're rebels, of course. What have you understood about American culture by covering all those presidents that you didn't know before, or that maybe you weren't so aware? What really surprised you or made you think about American culture? And I'm really looking for more at the early stuff, if possible, than the later, the more recent one. More recent, we are so exposed to America that in a way it's hard not to know. But the earliest part, I found that was for me the most interesting, because it's the one I knew the least about.
Yeah.
I think for me it's the absolute determination to not be British in any way, shape or form. Like we're not doing, we're going to do the opposite of what they do. Our democracy is going to be so different. We're going to be so free. We're going to be so different. That really stood out to me, especially in the early episodes.
Yeah. I feel I understand the country a lot more, which you'd like to think if you'd spent several years researching into its history. I started the idea of the presidents, which Jamie jumped on as an idea of being really good. It was Trump. Trump got into power in 2016, which was when we started our Roman podcast. Yeah. Jamie, we've been going for 10 years now soon, by the way.
Oh, wow. Yeah, May?
Yeah. We should probably do something.
Yeah, but thankfully, after January 6th, then that story was over. So.
Oh, yeah. So I just wanted to know how has this happened? How's Trump got in? Well, so the only way to explain it is to systematically go through every single president one by one and find out.
Yeah.
I feel like I now do understand why Trump got him.
Yeah.
He's not an anomaly.
No, he's Jackson. He's Jackson of the 21st century.
He's Jackson. He's FDR was an anomaly. I would argue that H.W. Bush and Obama were as well, because they actually weren't bad people. What I discovered is that most presidents have either been awful people desperately trying to gain power, or corrupt or lazy. That seems to be most presidents, and occasionally you get a good person who comes along and actually does some good. So but you're talking about the early years. The thing that really stood out to me, which is not something you get growing up in this country, is like America's a superpower.
Yeah,
I
but it really was
the same in most countries, especially in Europe. And then you look at early America, and it's like they were the underdogs. They were the plucky underdogs fighting for something really good. And they won, and it's such a good story. And it's amazing. And then they should have cancelled the season then. They should have won the Civil War and gone, right, okay, over. Right, let's just do something else now, because, it's just...
The period before the Civil War is very rough, I must say. Yeah. When you started covering those presidents, including... There was one that had a slave dealer in the White House. I don't remember which one it was, but it was one of the latest ones. And I was thinking, this was outrageous even back then. It would have been outrageous even back then. And you can tell also how much America has changed, in that sense that this early America is almost, to me, was almost unrecognizable. Also in the way it was governed. Like, we assume that there's freedom of press. I discovered there was no freedom of press in reality. And, we assume all these things about America because we are also imbued in the myth of America, which is the myth that is also sold. It's taught to Americans. Yeah. And we know it too, inevitably, because we are exposed, as we said. But it's so far from the reality, so far.
I find it fascinating how there's this constant idea of what would the founding fathers think, which is almost like endearing in a way. It's like, that's really nice. You know the people who started your country, and you want them to think good about you. And not many countries get to do that.
No,
that is actually quite nice, but the country is so unrecognizable now. Who knows what Washington, Madison, Jefferson would think, apart from cars. It's so. I mean, Jefferson would be horrified, I can only assume.
With this American president, they will also not recognize the Constitution, because they set it up to be ruled by Congress, with this weak executive that was supposed to be basically just doing a little bit of coordination.
Which, ironically, they kind of got. The closest they ever really got to that after that initial bit was the Gilded Age. Where the presidency really became really weak. However, it was awful because it was one of the most corrupt times in American history. The corruption all went through Congress. Whereas... something, because you sent these questions to me, and I did think about this, because you did mention the earlier times, and it made me realize that this is the difference, because I've talked about how this is the second Gilded Age, which I'm quite proud of myself
I absolutely love that. It was like a light turning on and saying,
I said
that clicks.
And then I started seeing it elsewhere. It's like, I'm not an idiot. Other people are thinking it as well. This is, I had an insight that other people independently agree with, and that was good. But it occurred to me there is a major difference. This Gilded Age is going through the executive.
Yes.
Past Gilded Age went through the
through power of Congress. That is a big difference, which makes it more dangerous, I think, because the power is more concentrated now. And the easy. So today I tell you something that incredible that happened today. Today I got a letter from Trump. You say,
personally,
like, what?
Good friend.
It's written Marco Cappelli, but basically it's a stupid thing. But I would just say it's like a reimbursement for $50 that I spent on Amazon Prime in the US because I had to ship something in the US. Anyways, that's not the point. The point is that it's written that Trump's so it's in President Trump's authority. Instead of saying the US FTC, I think it's this agency, it says President Trump's FTC has agreed with Amazon to give you $50. Amazon doesn't recognize any wrongdoing, but has decided to do it, which is incredible on multiple levels. It just happened today, so it's really fresh. Wow. It's so incredible on multiple levels. First, the institution is not the government, it's the president's institution. And second, you can see that actual corruption can even be a corruption not involving anymore buying the politician, but financing the politician's activity towards the electorate. So that's possible now. So anyway, I don't want to get political in that sense, but I like to look at it from an institutional point of view. So if I don't care if it's Trump or the Democrats doing any of this. The point of you are seeing an evolution where big companies like Amazon can impact the government, without doing away with even those small screens that were used before.
Yeah. But then this is how we are similar to the first Gilded Age. You had those big names, Carnegie, you had Ford, you had Morgan. And those names have lived on in the same way that Zuckerberg and Musk will live on in 100 years' time. These are those same names, and I very much think that we're going to see. So going back to the question, what I have learned about American culture is it's evolved but not changed completely. You can still see that they bizarrely still see themselves as the plucky underdogs fighting against the world, but now they're the most powerful. They're still fighting against the world. And it's interesting. But I found it fascinating. I'm really glad I got an insight into American history because there's a lot going on in the world right now, and I know a lot of people are probably very confused by it. I'm confused by it, but I feel at least a bit more grounded because I've done a lot of reading about this, and that helps me. Yeah.
What about you, Jamie? Do you agree with Rob? There is anything else?
Yeah. No, I think that's pretty much it, to be fair. I think that's good what you said, Rob, about it being sort of, they think they're still the plucky underdogs. Everyone's against the government, perhaps. And it's it's an interesting way of thinking. But I guess they're going through tricky teenage years at the moment, so they're quite young.
Yeah, they're still quite young. Yeah. By American standards, they're still in the early phases of the republic. So, one thing that I liked in one of your early episodes, is this fixation about big cheeses, making big cheeses.
Yes, I forgot about the big cheeses.
And I loved that you said, maybe that's say you were very kind in saying this, because of course you have a lot of American listeners, but you were very kind saying you could have, because basically the joke was that they were trying to make the biggest possible cheese. Maybe it says something about American culture that they weren't trying to make the best. The point was to make the biggest. And I absolutely love it. I said, that tracks. That tracks was already there in the early 19th century.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you can't do quality, do quantity. And arguably, it's also why America won World War II when they came in.
We will just produce
rather than quality. Just keep producing. You can make
Yeah, you can make a great tank, Germany, but we can make 2,000 more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, half of them will fall apart, but it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so third question. So Britain obviously rules or ruled the waves.
Definitely past tense there. Yes,
Past tense. But the interesting part is I always assume with the regulars, so with the Navy, but it's really interesting to see in your third podcast the incredible impact and influence that the regulars had. So my question is, Italians are not interested in pirates as much as you guys are. Are you very interested? I noticed that in general, English-speaking countries are very interested in pirates. Are you interested in that because you made such good ones?
So I found this question really interesting. I didn't realize we were really obsessed with pirates. But
well, you are. You wrote the general history, and it was a bestseller. And then and you've been doing this forever. Then you wrote books, Stevenson. I used to read a lot about, the Treasure Islands was my first book. Treasure Islands and all other things piratey related. And then you get to, the pirates area in Disneyland. Okay, that's America, but, it's the rebels.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Okay, quick question. It's remember back when you were 7?
Yes.
Yeah. And you were invited to a party to another child's house. And it's a fancy dress party. Was being a pirate an option?
Yeah, definitely, yes.
Right,
Zorro.
Okay, so in Italy, dressing up as a pirate is fancy dress.
But Zorro too, actually, that's more like we have Carnival, of course, which you guys do Halloween a bit like Carnival. It's a bit of a mixture, but Carnival definitely, Indians, cowboys, pirates is an option. It's true. That is true.
Okay, so there still is that, but no, you do make a good point. I suppose the reason why the world dresses up as pirates is because a bunch of English writers wrote about them and American people made films about them. So, I mean, it makes sense that most of the Golden Age pirates were English or British. Sorry, we've got a couple of very good Welsh ones recently.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So more likely these people were going up against the British Navy, so therefore it became big in Britain, and that's what's pushed it on. I mean, the fact that we almost celebrate the Golden Age pirates is just fascinating. These were not good people. They weren't monsters. They weren't terrible, but they weren't like heroes. They were. You got some that were like just trying to make a living, and they were being horribly oppressed by the Navy, and they just wanted something for themselves. You can understand that. But then you also got some that were hideous monsters and awful, because life is complex and you get all sorts of people. So it's interesting that people nowadays dress their kids up as pirates in the same way they dress them up as an astronaut.
But I guess but people like the bad guy, don't they? It's like in Star Wars, the most popular character is probably Darth Vader, right?
Yeah,
people dress as bad guys.
I guess it's the plucky underdog that fights. It's the same concept of Robin Hood. So it's again, it's the underdog against the system, right? Today would be someone against the big multinationals, right? So in a sense, the pirates. But it's also very interesting then covering the details of their lives. And I didn't write you this, but it's interesting to me. Again, this may be my background. They look a lot like mafiosi. So I'll tell you why.
That's interesting. I've not. Go on.
In this country, of course, there is a lot of literature about mafiosi, no? And the interesting part is. Usually in literature or in cinema, now there's also Americans, run with it, with all their movies. Often they are depicted as these heroic or, evil, yes, but extremely interesting personalities, etc. Then when they usually get a real one, you discover how ignorant, how uninteresting as a person, how, sometimes there is interest in being evil, but these are not really interesting or grandiose. There were a few grandiose pirates in your story, but I was surprised by how many of them were really second rate. I would call them like chicken thieves, some of them. They weren't, and many mafia guys are like that too. Like there's this big gap between the myth of these super powerful people that can rule in entire cities, and then often the reality of not so powerful people.
Yeah. I think this is why I really like the structure of our podcast, which obviously Rex Factor pioneered, because it forces you to, because you've got a list of ones to go through. It forces you can't just do the big names. You've got to then go through everyone. All. It's like, and then you build a better picture of what were pirates like. And yes, occasionally you got a Blackbeard, occasionally you got a Sam Bellamy, but you also got a Richard Hawley or a Thomas Howard or a John Halsey. They were just guys trying to do stuff, and they were sort of successful, but not that successful. I mean, most of them died. So, it's just been fascinating actually looking into something that has such a big mythology around it. Yeah. And actually drilling in to find out what were these Golden Age pirates actually like?
Actually, like what they actually did. Surprises me also their career often very short.
2-3 years. It's dangerous being a pirate.
Sometimes months.
Months. Some big names were just months. No, like what was the couple? The woman.
Jack Rackham, Anne Bonny. Yeah. That was like a 6-month cruise for them.
And these are big names. I had heard about them, so it's interesting, very fascinating. Okay, well, back to the Roman emperors then. Which Roman emperor would have been a good American president? Meaning. Let me rephrase that, because we already said that most were horrible people. I'll say an effective American president, someone that will work well within the constraint of the Constitution, let's say, and which one will instantly die or, will lose the job in that sense.
Be impeached. Yeah. Go on, Jamie. Who do you think?
Constantine II? Basil II.
Basil II. Yes, Basil II obviously was. He was very
smooth operator, very smooth. Basil II.
It didn't even occur to me to go to Basil II, but no, you're absolutely right. That would work. He knew what he was doing. He really did. He is roughly 180 emperors we covered. Very few impressed me in a kind of you actually know what you're doing. You're not just hoping for the best, or you've not gone crazy. He certainly was one of them. I went for Hadrian. I think.
He could build a wall.
He can stop the war. He can win the Nobel Prize.
The thing about Hadrian is that Hadrian understood, just like several good presidents have done in the past, that land expansion is not the best way to improve your empire. Topical. Instead,
I get. I agree.
Instead, if you're listening to this way in the future, Greenland. That's all we need to say.
It's just happening right now. That's why we're
right now. Anyway, Hadrian realized that if he just secured what he had and focused on exerting cultural and financial dominance within his empire, he would be able to stabilize it. He got lucky. There were no external pressures or no major ones at the time.
That is true.
But that is the kind of person you want modern day. That's who you want as an American president right now. Someone who goes, you know what? This is one of the, if not the most peaceful time in all of history. Let's just settle and stop pushing things.
Let's not screw it up. Because I always get mad to, I tell you another glimpse of Italian thing. If you go to Rome, in Via dei Fori Imperiali is the Imperial Forum street, built by Mussolini, by the way, demolishing an entire neighborhood. It connects the Colosseum and Piazza Venezia, which is this famous square in Rome. You'll see, if you saw it, you'll know what I'm talking about. So there's this big avenue. And on the avenue, because Mussolini destroyed this neighborhood and to build this road, in the Imperial Rome, he put 4 maps. And one, there was basically the map of Rome is not just a city, then it's like a Republican time, is very much larger, and then you get to the last map, which is at the highest point, Trajan, with Mesopotamia and Armenia. And it always makes me mad, this map, because I say, these were not conquests, these were not stable areas.
No, that Trajan map, greatest extent, is always very irritating, isn't it? It
irritates me so much for some reason.
It's like you could have walked to China for a week and walked back and went, well, we were there, so that was Rome. No, it's just they couldn't hold it. They didn't hold it. They would have never been able to hold it if they tried. And luckily, Trajan was lucky enough that he died, so he didn't have to see what a misfortune would have happened if he didn't retreat. So it's just ridiculous. But it's a point of saying, oh, this is a great expansion. But I much appreciate Adrian saying, okay, no, this is ridiculous. If we push our enemy too much, they will have to react. Yeah. So let's find a good point where we have what we interest us, they have what interests them, and we have no reason to fight for 100 years. So which is great. I agree. That's why I want Hadrian to be in charge, because he saw that. And to be fair, some other emperors saw that and they just weren't in a position to do it because the hordes were at the gates. So it's much harder to say, well, let's just consolidate what we've got when people are invading. But
lock the door.
Yeah, that's what I go for.
But I will add one myself then. For me, Diocletian. So,
yes, Diocletian would be a very good choice.
Such as another also, like an American president, not inheriting the empire, but as a politician with a knife, making it through to get to the point. But then once he gets there, that he's not a great general, but he's an incredible politician, managing. Yes. All those a very difficult situation, making sure that people actually obey him from afar, that they had all potential incentive not to. So how he did it, actually, I don't know.
I always find it interesting that Washington is compared to like the modern day Cincinnatus. He gave up his power, and it's like, well, surely Diocletian would have been a better comparison. It's probably more a case of the type of education they had back then. They were far more interested in the classical Roman, the Republic. But Diocletian, no, that is a very good choice because.
Also, you have to give away the power after 2 terms, in theory.
He set up a really good system, and it would have worked so well if there weren't idiots there. Could you imagine if his system had worked for, say, 50 to 100 years, it would have become entrenched, and it probably would have rolled for a good few 100 years. I mean, nothing lasts forever, but it seemed like a really good system. It's such a shame it fell apart immediately.
Often in human society, it takes like 3 times it happens, and then it becomes a tradition.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
The problem is it didn't become a tradition. I mean, of course, there were big forces making sure it didn't happen. Yeah. But I agree that there was an interest in making that thing work, and they did actually try to make it work. So it's a real shame
Constantine,
that Constantine, yes, that's why he doesn't make the list. Okay. Okay, so now let's do the opposite. So, which American president, excluding the current one, because that's a too easy a question, would
could have fun as a Roman emperor. So in all those presidents you covered, the one that would have liked the most to be a Roman emperor.
You see, you caveated that with not the
Yeah, that's a big caveat, but because it was
too easy.
So let's say the second, that's the number two, that's a competition for number two.
Well, interestingly, and I'm assuming you wouldn't know this, but one of our major newspapers in this country today ran with a big article talking about how Trump is the modern day Caligula. Which it's like, right, okay, the Roman comparisons are coming out now. Yeah, I don't think he's Caligula myself. No. I'd more go for, I don't know, Vespasian or Nero or someone like that. But anyway, but we're not allowed to choose the present one. So, Jamie,
so we can't choose. So we can't choose 47. I'll choose 45 then.
Yes, fair enough. Yeah, complete
45. 45 W.
He was
so. Yeah.
You know what? 45 was a lot saner. Who'd have thought it? No, right, okay. Actual different presidents. I've got two that I think would have worked really well, but I want you to go first, Jamie.
So I'm tempted to go for one of the earlier ones because I think it was a similar, more, things were starting to set up. You're kind of establishing stuff. Yeah. So it'd be easy to say something like
things were just a bit wilder back then, weren't they?
Yeah. So I don't think Washington. Because he was, not Jackson. What was his name? Oh, second one.
John Adams.
Adams.
No, not John Adams.
Jefferson.
There we go. Jefferson.
I think.
Thank you,
Jamie. I think you're right. Jefferson. He has that emperor quality in him. I don't know. Je ne sais César. But yeah, he has. And by the way, it was an incredible episode about Jefferson, and I really liked that you showed all the unpleasant part of Jefferson, which is really unpleasant.
Oh, I did. I went into his episode assuming I'd love him. I genuinely thought he'd be one of my favourite presidents because everything I knew about him was like he had some really good ideas. Turns out you can have some really good ideas and be an absolute bleep.
bleep.
Yes.
Yeah. I think Jackson is actually he would have liked to be an emperor.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jackson, out of the two I went for, Jackson is the first one I mentioned. Jackson would have revelled in it. But also, he wasn't an idiot. He did know how to rule. So he would have been able to take charge. People would have respected him because back then they'd respect the craziness. In his youth, he would have chased someone through the forum and beaten them to death with a chair leg.
Yeah.
And then he would have become emperor. And people would go, remember old Cherry Jackson? So
I can almost see him like Sulla, so that's Republican time, but making a nice list.
Oh, yes. Subscription list, definitely. He'd be up there making those lists. He would. Jackson.
Yeah, this guy single-handedly changed, in a way, the constitution. I mean, he is the first real democratically elected president, and he changed this political system, basically, in parties of him and against him. It's fantastic.
He is one of the most fascinating presidents, Jackson is, in the sense
horrible
that
person.
Horrible person, but I actually really admire what he did to the political scene because he made it more fair for everyone, because he did push against the elites that were controlling everything, but he was awful and did so much bad stuff, and it makes him really fascinating, and that is what a lot of Roman emperors were really about.
Yeah, exactly. As a character, he will only have to learn Latin for me. That's the only...
Okay, well, I went for another, see if you can get it. I'm going to give you a clue. It's post-World War II.
Okay, post-World War II.
Reagan.
Jamie, you got it. Reagan.
Reagan, okay.
I think Reagan definitely would have made a good Roman emperor. I mean, he had the charisma, he was an actor, and he had strong beliefs, but his strong beliefs were very personal, as in, I don't want to pay tax, and I don't care about anyone else. And he was happy for other people to advise him. I think Reagan would have actually done a very similar job. Reagan was an effective president. So I disagree with most of what he did, but he did it effectively. I think he would have been a very good Roman emperor in that he would have just done the same thing.
Teddy Roosevelt.
And then Teddy Roosevelt.
I think he'd be like the fun emperor.
Yeah.
Let's go and kill stuff.
Yeah, why didn't I think of Teddy? Obviously, Teddy.
Teddy is also a rich aristocrat. He looks like the part of the Roman emperor already.
Constantly got dead possums in his toga all the time. He bought
a ranch, so like a huge villa with slaves in that time. So
I think Jamie, maybe you've won there. I think maybe Teddy Roosevelt actually would be the best. Yeah.
Okay, then more difficult. Which one of the American presidents instead will immediately die if he were to be transported into Rome?
Oh, Hayes, definitely.
Oh yeah.
Jolly
definitely Hayes. He was. Hayes was just a nice guy who ended up being president. It's one of the biggest ironies of American presidential history is the fact that one of the nicest people ever to become president is only remembered for the scandal of him becoming president. So everyone thinks he must have been awfully corrupt. Well, no, that was just the party system around him that was corrupt. He was just a nice bumbling guy. He was just doing his stuff. He wouldn't have lasted at all. He would have been in the year of the 4 or the 5 or the 6 emperors.
One of those in the middle, like
he would have just been one of those. Oh, there's also this guy. Yeah, which to be fair is also what he is in American history. Who's head of Hayes.
I guess on the opposite side, Didius Julianus could have done well in all these late 19th century or today.
Didius Julianus right now would be in the Republican Senate, and he'd be one of those senators who was just licking certain places to get money, and that's what he'd do.
Fun.
Do you mind if I quickly nip to the loo?
Bye. Go.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, cool. I'll be just one moment.
So, is it okay, JB? Having fun. The important thing is having fun.
Yeah, definitely.
It's I really like the topics you chose. I'm really curious to see what will be and what will be about the Holy Roman Empire. And by the way, I really absolutely fantastic the races at the end of the episodes.
The chariot races. Yeah, they were fun to do.
with the British and the Americans, you guys have well, this is a great thing about Brits. So the sense of humor definitely a plus. I wish I could be as funny, but it really is very funny.
Oh, thank you. I think we just do things that make us laugh. If we can make each other laugh, then that's what we put out.
that works. That works. No, but that was very nice. So, which one was your? So now I can ask you, which one of the 3 series is your favorite? So the one where you had most fun.
Oh,
I will not put it in the episodes. It's
that's fine. I'm trying to think, because I get sort of flashes of different episodes and different points in the series that I've really enjoyed. So I'm really enjoying the Pirates one.
Yeah,
it's so different.
I agree. I don't know if it came incorrectly right there, but I'm really interested.
Yeah.
And there it's also interesting because it's a small period of time.
Yeah.
So you get to really travel the world and get into the nitty-gritty details of everything.
Yeah.
And even the personal stories that intersect. The guy was serving there and then he went to the other ship. I think some listeners, I'm not that attentive, but some listeners are having a lot of fun connecting the dots between all the stories.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's weird to think that when we did Augustus, we did it in one episode, like an hour and a half episode.
Yeah.
And then we're spending the same amount of time on a pirate that lasted for a couple of months. It's
yeah.
Oh yeah, that is ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah.
that first episode. Oh, we'll cover Augustus in like 40 minutes. Why not?
Yeah, I did Constantine in the time that it takes me now to to do like half a year of history. I did it in. Well, let's go, Constantine. Done. Next. So
yeah.
Okay, so going back, it's important. The break is very important.
Well, it was very important because I got myself one of these.
Yeah. Now it's the whiskey.
I wasn't going to, but Jamie was drinking one, so.
Well, yeah. It is. At this point, you make me. There's something missing. Anyways, I'll have to fix that after recording. So let me restart from here. And we had a little break and we're talking about the fact that you guys are having a nice glass of whiskey, which, by the way, if you don't know, for rum though, is a very nice feature of the Pirate series. Go listen to the Pirate series, you'll discover why. So a bit more serious. I don't know, before that, is there a Roman emperor that feels like a pirate? So it could have been a pirate. So in all those, I have an idea. So
do you? That's interesting.
I came prepared. So and I think I will say it. I will say, right, that tracks.
Justinian
because that's a good one, Jamie. Because I thought about this for ages.
Yeah.
What did you say, Jamie? I missed it.
Justinian 2.
Justinian 2 is a perfect pirate, no? Right?
Oh, he totally is.
He did.
That scene of him going across the Black Sea, just saying, "Strike me down now if I won't succeed." And he's in his boat.
And I've covered his story too. So I was very aware of it, and I was like, "This stuff is gold."
It's one of life's tragedies that he is not more well known. His story is phenomenal. I don't understand why more people don't know about him.
So do you know that in Venice there may be one of his portraits? Oh, the only portrait.
Yes, that rings a bell because...
So because I love Venice, in the corner of San Mark Basilica, looking towards the two columns. If you have been to Venice, you'll know, but if you go, check it out. By the way, very close to the Tetrarchs, the famous four Tetrarchs statue is a corner also of San Mark, in the same corner, by the way. On top, so on the higher level where there is a balcony, right on the corner, looking towards those columns, there is just a statue, a Roman statue, but it's clearly a Byzantine statue. Is in red porphyry. The style could be 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th century. It's not clear. They didn't make too many statues back then, so it's hard to pinpoint exactly. But it seems to depict an emperor with a nose cut. It seems to depict. So they say it could be Justinian II, and it was, of course, one of the things that the Venetians took, probably, very likely from Constantinople after the Fourth Crusade, and is looking to these two columns, which is in between. The Venetians would cut the head of people sentenced. So it's not a coincidence that it's put there in that sense. It probably is not a coincidence. They were saying, that's what happens to people in this place, and he's looking in that direction. So anyway, little story about Justinian II in Italy.
But just a great emperor, and that's a really good answer, Jeremy. I didn't think of Justinian II.
He has the story of a pirate. He takes a ship, he steals a ship, and he sails across the Black Sea. It's perfect. But I will say there's another pirate, in my opinion. He didn't do a ship thing, but Andronikos. Andronikos is a good pirate, in my opinion.
Oh, you see, I didn't go there either. Go on, why are you saying Andronikos?
Well, Andronikos has a story of a pirate. He goes around... of course, he's always unpredictable. He's always stealing in a sense. He's marching into scenes and getting the nice lady. I know it's not the real pirate, but it's
he's got the charisma though, hasn't he? He's got the swagger. He's got
the swagger is there. You know, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, that is also a very good choice. Him just walking from city to city just to sleep with the relatives of people he didn't like. That sounds piratey, doesn't it?
Yeah, in a different way, in a sort, you know. But he's not stealing ships, but it's piratey.
Okay, well, I chose 2. Interestingly, we are all going for later Roman emperors rather than earlier. We're all going for Eastern Roman emperors for now. Because I went for Basil 1.
Yeah, but that is also
because I'm just thinking, what defines pirates is the rags to riches story. That's what a pirate is. So someone who starts with nothing and ends up with everything. Well, that's what Basil did. I could have chosen several of the rags to riches ones. His was the first one that came to my mind. Until then,
Justin. Let's say another.
Could have gone for Justin. That would have worked. But then I thought of an even better rags to riches one, who obviously would have been a good pirate. And I did go earlier this time. Thrax.
Maximus Thrax. Yeah.
Thrax. Big giant of a man punching horses. He could be a pirate.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can see him.
He'd have to punch seahorses, but
also reckless. Like he has no legitimacy.
Yes, that's a very good point.
Completely reckless. Like he was not. For the time, it was something unthinkable what he did, and in fact, he died because of it. But he did it anyway. I mean, everybody would have known at the time that it's completely bonkers as for a like a legionary that came from the bottom to become emperor. It's ridiculous, but he did it anyway. So
I have another idea.
Jamie,
That's
you've got
a
your
good
hand
question.
up. Yes.
I have. So I'm thinking, because there are some pirates that use their image so they would just scare their enemies so they wouldn't attack. Caracalla, he wanted to look scary. He wanted to look mean.
Ooh, that's
He had
good.
the hood. He's like the Blackbeard.
Yeah, he wanted to look, but in reality, there was not much there. But he wanted to project this, this scary, and that's what got to us, by the way. And this entire thing about making a horse a senator, it's a calculated thing, saying, okay, I can do anything. You have to be scared of me because I could do anything.
Also, don't forget Caracalla had Thrax as an advisor, so you could have Thrax and Caracalla on the same pirate crew.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry, I confused. Oh God, how could I do? I confused Caligula with Caracalla. I will have to.
Sorry.
I will have to.
No, maybe
I will have to.
Maybe I
got
Jamie. Did you say
Caracalla?
You said Caracalla, right? Okay, I thought maybe I got.
I went. He said Caracalla, and in my mind, the picture was Caligula. No, but you're right. Caracalla is also absolutely.
Yeah. No, that image of like he's wearing. It might be because we did that a lot, because his name just meant the cloak, and we really pushed for that image. But yeah. No, I think all
also
of these.
Caracalla is always represented in his statues like he wants to be seen as scary. Like very obviously, these are commissioned. That's how he wanted to be seen. Like we see these statues and says, "Oh my God, this guy is scary," and I think that's absolutely calculated. Okay, we've got quite a few emperor pirates. Okay, so now I have a serious question because it's something that it's a curiosity again about the world of piracy. And now, for my listeners that are not very familiar with British history, the Jacobites are the guys in the 17th century that want the Stuart to come back, basically. Okay. So the thing that really, and I don't have an answer, so I don't know if you have. So I hope you do. I noticed that there's a strong Jacobite leaning of the pirates. And I was wondering why so. So at a time where it seems like a lost cause also. So what attracts them to these cause? What is the reason? And in general, what are the other class and political leanings? Because you can tell there's political leanings in this among pirates. Some choices. So why do you think they had these leanings, or why people with those leanings were attracted to piracy?
Well, I think, interestingly, because I didn't think of this when you sent the question, but you just used the word lost cause. And yes, it was a lost cause, but so were the pirates at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe it just is a case of bandying lost causes together. But it's complex. It's a boring answer. That's what I think. Everything is complex. It's a various number of things. But the main thing, the reason why this Jacobean leaning goes throughout piracy, it's opportunism. A lot in Britain weren't happy with the Hanoverian takeover, and that's mainly because it meant that they were going to lose power or money or influence. However, the pirates didn't have any power, money, or influence, so why did they lean? But I think there would have been enough pirates that were politically minded enough to realise that if the government in charge of the most powerful navy in the world wants you dead, perhaps it's a good idea to support the other side.
Yeah, the anti-government, basically.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
It just makes sense in a way that to oppose the government that is most likely to hang you.
Yeah, and I get the sense that there were enough politically leaning, intelligent pirates that they said that loud enough, and everyone just went along with it. Yeah, okay, we're Jacobites now.
I guess we are.
Don't really care. Jacobites. Love Jacobs. Anyway, that ship, are we attacking that one? I get the feeling that's
where are we? Yeah, exactly.
There would have been people who knew why exactly they were doing it, and they were the ones that knew that this might actually gain something. The names is Charles Vane. Charles Vane, who we've covered.
Yes,
is
probably the most political of the
by
pirates.
Far. It's interesting. Charles Vane in social consciousness seems to have been like written in as this like really vicious gung ho pirate. But actually, when you look into it, he does seem to be one of the most politically minded. He was trying to contact the Jacobeans. He was sending letters off to say, we will support you. It's the only time I have seen in my research where a big pirate is actually trying to make political alliances. So you obviously had these people, and they spread it. And then everyone went, oh, okay, well, Captain Vane said we're Jacobites now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm guessing that's how it happened. And that's also how a lot of politics happens to this day.
Yeah, it is true.
Yeah. So, but it is really interesting because I had no idea.
Me neither.
I certainly was in no way a pirate expert when we went into the series. It literally was a case of, I reckon pirates have some cool stories. Let's jump in completely blind. And see what happens. And it's been fascinating how much the golden age of piracy is tied to the English Civil War, the American Revolution, the French Revolution, the War of Spanish Succession, and it's like it pulls like 100, 200 years in both directions, and you can see direct parallels and connections in the golden age of piracy, and it's fascinating in that sense because it's not like a country you can study, but it really encapsulates what was going on in that area.
I would add that another interesting thing that I noticed in your American series is the leaning of the Americans, of the early Americans, in connected to the English Civil War. So how the Northerners were more like on the Parliament side, and the Southerners were more on the Chevalier were called, no, like the guys that supported the Stuart basically at that time.
Yeah.
So that also, okay, I understand more. I understand more also about the political history than of these places afterwards. Of course, when we talk about pirates, we're not talking about places, but in that case, I also got that out of it. It's always interesting when you do a focus on something that then explains like a million of other things.
Yeah,
I guess
exactly.
That's what we are trying to say.
It's like we're certainly focusing on the proxy war area and what's going on for people who live in an area where the proxy wars are all happening. And that is very unusual for Totalus Rankium. The two series we've done is civilization spanning generations. And in this one, it's like, nope, we're going to stay here in this 20-year period. And we are going to, it's been really interesting doing that. I see why people who get fascinated in history end up just in a place that they call home, and they become such good experts there because you can get it's just not, it's never ending, is it? You could just keep going and finding things out.
Yeah. I agree about that. It's comforting because you start connecting all the dots.
Yeah.
And they make more sense the more you stay there, right? Now, you see, I'm jumping back and forward, so I go back to Roman emperors. And again, in my list of serious questions, one very influential book is from Anthony Caldelis, is one of the greatest experts about Byzantine history. He wrote this incredible book about Byzantine history that just came out recently, the definite list of all the Byzantine emperors. And one of his earlier works, he was saying that the Byzantine Empire, the Roman Empire, he always calls it Roman Empire, the Roman Empire is really like more the book is called the Byzantine Republic. So it's like a republic in many ways, with let's say a president serving for life. So after covering then all the Roman, I was about to say presidents, all the Roman emperors.
Yeah.
How much do you agree with that? How much do you think they are absolute rulers? Because in our mind, the emperor, not like is like Star Wars emperor, like so all powerful, and his word is law. Does that fit the Roman Empire? And to which point? And you can go anyways. Yes, no, in between.
I mean, it's a tough question. It's a big question. My first reaction, because you sent these questions through a few days ago, and I looked at it, and my first reaction was, well, obviously they weren't all powerful. Surely everyone knows this. But then I realized, oh no, not everyone spent several years looking into this.
Yeah, so maybe, exactly.
Yeah, maybe people do think they were all powerful. But
many do.
The empire lasted in various forms for a millennium and a half. In that time, the culture shifted in language, it shifted in religion, it shifted in culture. Obviously, therefore, the man on the top was perceived, and like how he acted and how he was perceived changed over time, because everything changed over time.
Yeah.
So I do agree with this idea that, yes, obviously the emperors were not all powerful. However, I don't like the breakdown of how periods in Roman history are perceived. For example, the Principate era and the Dominant era doesn't make any sense to me. I'd argue Augustus and Trajan ruled more with an absolute power than Domitian or Numerian, and they're in different eras.
Yeah, so I see their point.
Yeah. So, were they permanent heads of a Roman Republic? Yeah, I can see. I understand where he's coming from, and he's far better historian.
Let me try to do the Caldelis. Let me try to defend the Caldelis. He's saying, and I'm not saying that he's right. I'm just trying to be the Caldelis in this case. He's saying, if a Roman emperor is not popular, there is a way to do a sort of strange election, where someone will rebel, will come to, he's expert of the Byzantine history, will come to Constantinople, but you can make the case also of the earlier empire. And then the people inside the city will decide which one they will support. There very rarely comes to a siege or a battle or something. There will be a sort of a let's say, election of sort.
Yeah.
And they will decide which one they want.
The will of the people, even if it's not
in the
counted.
Sense. Yeah, it's not counted like everyone votes.
A qualitative will of the people rather than quantitative.
Yeah. And of course, people with means and with important roles count much more than the people that. But the people, like the little people, still have organs. Like, let's say they have associations like the circus teams, for example, through which they can channel political links and influence the politics. Okay, it's not a republic.
It's not certainly not a republic. I do get it, but I would argue. I mean, that's any kind of society. There will always be public pressure.
But his point is, for example, in Western Europe, we had a system where the next head of state would be the closest relative to the previous head of state.
Yeah, and this is the difference. They did not have primogeniture. Said that word wrong. How do you say that word?
Primogeniture?
Yeah, There, tongue's not working. Yeah, they didn't pass. The Romans didn't pass everything down the family line. That never was a set thing. It did happen occasionally, but it wasn't. And because of that, there was this idea that anyone sort of could be emperor. But I don't get the sense that people living there thought that. Because the emperor was essentially like, it's one god, one emperor, one empire. The emperor was a special place.
Yeah.
A special person, a special idea. I can see, if you see it on a big macro view, and you'd look at it and go, well, the people's will won out. Well, the people's will always win out, because whoever won had people behind them. But if you lived under Nero and you were really annoyed, or if you lived under Anastasius and everything was going to crap, you wouldn't be going, well, at least we've got something that we can change about this. I don't know.
It's a stretch. Let's put it.
But I don't know his theory that well. You sent it through, and I looked through it a bit. I'd have to look through it more to form a big opinion. But those were my first thoughts, anyway.
So then I make you a question then about America. I'll say ask Jamie first. So I just want your opinion. So. Unlike Britain, Italy, Germany, most European countries, America has a head of state and a head of government, which are the same person.
Yes.
In that sense, is that a bit imperial, or a bit more imperial than a European system where there's always a president and a prime minister, or a king in your case, and a prime minister?
I get the feeling it wasn't intended to be imperial when it first started.
Yeah,
in America, the Senate was meant to be the power and everything. I think that shifted. I think it's now more of a potentially a cult of personality. It's like the most popular person gets chosen rather than based on their policies necessarily. Even thinking about Obama, people liked him as a guy, and probably liked his policies as well. They're pretty good, Obamacare. I think I'm rambling slightly, but it does appear that way now more so than perhaps some European countries.
One thing that I noticed when visiting Washington is that there's shrine to past emperors, presidents. I think if we teleported a Roman there, and they looked around besides the architecture, says, "Oh, yeah, that tracks." But he will recognize that a Roman from the pre-Christian times said, "Yeah, right, Divus Augustus. There it is, Jefferson with his enormous memorial and the words written about him." And I don't think any other country, democratic country, does that to this extent.
Even places like Washington State, places named after these people as well. There are cities called Jackson. There are Jefferson County. There's all these kind of named after all these people. It's it is a bit odd. we haven't got like a Tony Blair town, have we? Or a
no, but we also have a lot of Victoria stations.
We do, but she was like the monarch. I think that's different.
Yeah, without
yes,
power.
You're absolutely right, because that is the difference between head of state and head of government. That is a very good point. Yes,
that is the representation of the government, right? Of the state, the head of. But
a temporary representation as well, not like a king or a monarch or something. It's
It's it and if you ask Americans, they will not notice this because it's so embedded in the culture. Yeah. But as an outsider coming in and saying like, "Oh, that is odd."
Again, I think it's a case of America is still, in the grand scheme of things, a very young country. It made a lot of sense to combine head of state, head of government at the start, because they really needed to strengthen that position of the president. Because to begin with, who cares about the president?
Yeah.
So so having the head of state, head of government, one person, it did make sense. But then they rose in power, and those in charge who realised that there was like this social agreement in what the head of state and what the head of government does, and how you can combine it with one person, that's kind of been lost. And now, I don't know, someone should really have written it down in the Constitution, I think. Clearly, made this clear. Maybe this was something they missed.
It would have been amended.
Maybe it would have been amended.
That is another sacred thing, that the Constitution in the US has almost the role of a religious document now. I will think
which is fantastic.
It wasn't
when you start this idea of what we don't worship like just ideas. We venerate the law, and we want the Constitution to take place. And that makes sense, but it shifted, and now you've got politicians with the Constitution in their pocket, pulling it out, and then just doing stuff that goes completely against it. But they have this little prayer book, and therefore they're allowed to do what they want. It's America's changed. That's what I'm saying.
In the continuity, as we said at the beginning. All right, last questions, but I'm getting towards the end. But I know what your next project is, because you have announced it, and it is to cover the Holy Roman Empire. So myself, I'm starting. So I was saying before, I got to Charlemagne. So I'm very curious to see what would be your take. You start easy, like Augustus is your first episode. The first episode of Holy Roman Emperors will be Charlemagne. That would be a long episode, I can tell you. What are you looking forward to or dreading about the Holy Roman Empire?
Listening to it.
I don't want to listen. I want to make it, but not listen.
Well, as Jamie somewhat famously amongst our listeners said, and it was the first or second episode of the Roman series. Yep. I don't really like Roman history. It's like great.
But Jamie have become quite an expert. I mean, the thing that I noticed. When Rob asks you something, how do you think is gonna happen? Something like that, and you usually guess it. Quite, not always, obviously, but you usually guess it, which means that you are at home in that history, I think. And I really like
as well.
Yeah, that editing helps a lot.
Yeah, I edit
editing
the blind panic and screaming. I have to edit that out.
And the half an hour pauses will I have to cut down.
But we derailed. Holy Roman Empire.
Right, Holy Roman.
Do you know anything about it? Is there anything that because it's a piece of history I feel that is not very well. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Brits are very exposed to it.
Well, I got my doctorate studying the Holy Roman Empire. So
yeah, sure. I'm sure about it.
I'll be honest. I am dreading it. One of the main reasons why we did the pirates is because I couldn't bring myself to start the Holy Roman Empire. It makes sense. I do want to do it. Most of our listeners want us to do it, so we're going to do it, and I know I'll enjoy it, but I know it's going to be hard. It is a complex period of history. It is not a area of history that we are taught at all in this country.
That's what I was, so yeah. I guessed right.
Yeah, not even in the slightest. It is just completely glossed over. I think the first time I came across the idea of the Holy Roman Empire was when I was in my mid-20s, when I was reading a book about Caesar, and I did a Wikipedia search on something, and I went, what's the Holy Roman Empire? That is how, it's just not mentioned at all. So I really feel like I'm going to go into this completely blind. The only thing that's saving my sanity is that we have already covered more than 50%, a good chunk of the period through the Eastern Romans.
Yes.
So we'll be covering familiar ground. We'll just be shifting over slightly, which will be really nice. Things I'm looking forward to are sing the Avars again. That's going to be great. Yeah, the Avars are going to come back. Really happy
but only on
that.
The first episode. Spoiler, only on the first episode.
Shush. The Avars are coming back.
This is the only reason I'm doing this.
No, the Avars last for hundreds
forever,
of years.
forever, hundreds of years. Charlemagne is not a thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to collaborating with Pontifex because obviously we are going to have huge ties.
Huge ties.
So we'll be able to get Brie and Fry in to do some bits for us. That's going to be really good. I also, as much as it's going to be complex and difficult, because it is one of the most complex periods of European history. There's a lot going on. But I know that I'll come out of it going, oh, I understand that now.
Now it will. I think so, because a lot of continental Europe finally will make sense. I guarantee. Yes. I'm 100% sure.
Yeah.
When you come out of it, you say, that's why.
That's why Germany has these borders. Oh, that's why. Yeah, things like that. Yeah, and that's why I love doing Totalus Rankium. Like chipping away at history one person at a time, and you just build up this picture, and you just understand the world around you more. It's like a map in your head of why things are they are now.
Yeah. And added bonus from my point of view, you'll have to come to Italy often, every time, in order to be crowned.
Oh yeah.
Every time. And it will be a pain in the ass every time. I guarantee you. Yeah. It will be a pain in the ass every single time.
They're going to be so annoyed with it. Yeah.
But unfortunately, you will have to do it. You will not want to do it, but you will have to do it.
Because the last time we saw Rome was... I no idea.
Long time ago. Long time ago. You will come back to Rome regularly.
I seem to remember... oh, no, there's no way I'm going to remember who it was. But it was the guy who got killed with a bar of soap in the bath.
Constans II. Constans II is the last Roman emperor that came to Rome. Is Constans II.
They went through and stripped all the lead off the roof and then left.
of the Pantheon.
Yeah, of the Pantheon. It's like, hi, the emperor's here. We're gonna have all of your lead.
and I really like it because he dies in Italy, in Syracuse, in Sicily, and he actually ruled the what was the Roman Empire from Italy again for a few years. So I covered. That's why I covered that story.
And he may have had a fantastic beard, but it's debated.
Yes. Yeah. It's fantastic. Pogonatus. Yes. Fantastic. But yeah, no, you'll have to come back to Italy very often. And there's a few of those emperors that are obsessed with Italy. So, for example, for us, unlike for Britain, for Italy, this is actually important. So if you study anything about medieval Italian history, you have to cover this. Because the empire with its fights against the popes and then the communes, and it's all connected to Italian history. And there is a great emperor, so I'll tell you who has to win already.
Oh, okay.
And then you compare. And the guy that has to win is Frederick II. Then you can decide which one is the number 2, but you'll have to make Frederick II win. Okay? I'm just putting it ahead, just so you know.
Like I've said, I don't know much about the history, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to research, but I am aware that Frederick II is definitely going to be one of the forerunners in the same way that Washington or Augustus or Charlemagne would be a forerunner because they're the first. And then you got the people like Lincoln, and you got the people like Trajan.
The big guys.
But that doesn't mean they win.
Yeah, there could be a Ice or a Justinian too in there.
We have never. Oh no! I just realised in the Roman series, the biggest name did not win.
No.
Yeah. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, we will not say who won because you guys, and to wrap it up, you guys go listen to Totalus Rankium. Pick whichever one you like the best, but my if you follow my suggestion, start with the Romans, so you start at their beginning, Romans, Americans, and pirates, and you'll see it's great, it's fantastic. Now we joked a bit, but I really appreciate both the research and the interaction. Maybe because I'm a solitary podcaster, so I don't have that luxury of talking to someone else. So I really like how you guys do it. Congratulations. Really good job. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
So go listen to Totalus Rankium. Thank you guys. Have a fantastic evening, and I'm really glad that we could spend this hour and a half together.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks. And I'll raise my non-existent rum glass.
But
I'll
you go and sort yourself out afterwards.
Exactly. Thank you guys.
Cheers.
Bye.
E questo, come dico sempre, è quanto. Grazie mille per l'ascolto, e se siete arrivati fino a qui, mi raccomando, andate ad ascoltare Totalus Rankium nelle sue 3 attuali incarnazioni, non vi pentirete. Il prossimo podcast di Storia d'Italia Extra, lo prometto, è in italiano e di nuovo con un grande divulgatore, non vedo l'ora di mostrarvelo, anzi di svelarvelo. Vi ricordo degli appuntamenti in Abruzzo e nelle Marche il 14 aprile a Chieti e il 15 aprile ad Ascoli Piceno. Mi raccomando, spero che potrete essere dei nostri. Il secondo va prenotato a eleonora@rinascita.it, e vi ricordo che abbiamo ancora qualche posto per il viaggio invernale di Storia d'Italia questo dicembre in Germania, nella terra di Austrasia. Ma per ora vi lascio, grazie mille per l'ascolto e alla prossima settimana con l'episodio principale di Storia d'Italia. A presto!